partner, the one with whom you want to spend the rest of your life together, should be your best friend. I believe in that.
We are back with a Q&A. So, we have a couple of questions that people asked on Instagram and on other platforms that I would like to ask you. Because
They were now from the first episode, yeah?
After the first episode, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we will cover them today. And then later on, if people will have more questions, we will do another Q&A.
Okay.
This will be the first one. So, the first question is, how to get rid of the past memories of exes, like ex-boyfriends?
Exes.
And occasional flashbacks.
One thing is, it always helps to understand, like, why did this happen? And what does it have to do with me? What does it have to do with him? And the more clear you understand it, the more feelings can also vanish or turn into something else. That you say, like, okay, I understand it was really painful. I did things which made it maybe worse, and he did things, and this part was our negative interaction. That was about him, that was about me. Just to be able to understand it is really, really helpful. And the other thing which is helpful is to start to move in a new direction, and also, what do I learn from it, from my next relationship, and say, like, okay, what do I really have to be careful, what do I have to avoid? And then with a new partnership, let's say there is a trust issue because, okay, your ex-boyfriend was a couple of times unfaithful and you really suffer from this trust issue. And maybe you have a very nice new boyfriend, but it's just sometimes overwhelming. Very important, that's something I would really share also with you. And say, like, look, I understand, you have to understand that I'm so hurt from this time, that I'm maybe sometimes over suspicious, and I'm really grateful that you're not moving away from me because of that. Talking about it, moving on, and then maybe trust can be established. Or when it was domestic violence, of course. If it was a traumatic experience like rape or heavy beating or also psychological super abuse, then I would go to a counselor and or a therapist and work this through. You can anyways go to a counselor if you have open questions. Say, like, help me to understand why did this happen.
Why I can move forward somehow. Second question, why do people create drama in a relationship? It's almost like they want a conflict.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't say people. Some people do that.
In a relationship, I guess, one other partner.
Many reasons for it. For some people, provoking a conflict and having your partner being very agitated and shouting gives them the feeling, paradoxically, of being connected.
Really?
Yeah, they feel like he's so it's so emotional for him that gives me some kind of an importance that I know that he, he's not for them the worst thing would be indifference. So they're always like, nah, look at me.
So they can trigger the partner.
And then in other cases there are just resentments. People need always conflict and to win because it gives them a feeling of self-esteem. If you have a low self-esteem, and then it's also, you bring this into the partnership, and then you are suspicious that whatever your partner could cheat on you or something, which is maybe not realistic. You need to trigger it because your suspicion is stronger, and then your partner, of course, starts to feel unfairly judged and feels triggered, and he starts to bark back, and then it's this vicious circle. And the more he is defensive, the more he's defensive, you are getting suspicious. That's a vicious circle. The more you defend yourself, this is evidence for the other one. Like, there must be something. Otherwise, you wouldn't defend yourself so hard. So it can have this vicious circle. There is cultural issues, like here I have a lot of cross-cultural couples. So one is coming from whatever, South America somewhere, the other one is coming from here, and the one who is from South America had a family where they were always like, hey, ciao, go, blah, 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 what? It was just a normal way of communicating, and here not. And then the one perceives this as very aggressive and violent, for the other one this is just like, that's just a normal talk. And for him it would be fake to shut down.
Jealousy. I would like to know what makes us jealous and why it's so difficult to control it.
There's a difference between being envious and being jealous. Because, like maybe you roughly said, I think being envious is usually about possession. Like you have that, I don't, and I want it. And you have that, so you feel hunger for something you don't have. And being jealous is usually a question of self-esteem and the question of my value. So I'm jealous because I'm very scared that somebody could take my place who is better than me. So my partner is looking around because he doesn't think I'm good enough. And much of this superficial self-esteem can be like a very good-looking woman, and you're picked for that. But then maybe you feel like that's the only reason I'm picked for. I'm not really. It's not really who I am. It's more like what I have to deliver, what I can deliver, or what I can. And I think really jealousy goes away with more self-love and self-confidence. Say like, I'm good, I'm not perfect, I have a lot of woohoo, but I'm a great person, I like myself. And then if you can also bear that other people maybe don't like you so much, or because you think, okay, I mean, that's life. I also don't like everybody.
Okay, the next question is coming from me. How early in the relationship you should bring the question of marriage and kids?
First day, first question, I would say.
Really?
Yeah. So,
okay. So I will still single
before you ask for the name, so, you want to marry me?
No, really.
Can you imagine?
No, but it's important to know.
No, it was a joke. With time comes confidence. If you are clear that you want to build a family, let's not use too much the word marriage now, because again, there can be. We talked about it, but you are sure you want to build a family. You want to stay in a monogamic long-term relationship. I think you can dream about it from the start. I just wouldn't. You can say like, this is what I really want. I want a partner. But now we know each other for 2 months. I don't know if we can. Yeah, now it feels like, but we maybe have to explore each other a bit more. And I think that comes with, and then when your partner says like, I never want a family, then you already know. And then again, this is something you cannot really compromise about. But maybe your partner has a similar attitude. Even if you are freshly in love, and the other one comes pushing with marriage and family and children, I would really be like, sorry, but I cannot tell you now. Let's be together for a minimum a year. Let's live together. Let's see how it works.
Actually, what I meant is just to know if it can be somewhere in the future. So if the person is like maybe thinking about it, because some people, they know straight away that they want to have family, that they want to have kids. That's why it's important.
I mean that exercise I showed you, this dream I would share in the very start. That is something you can, but knowing if it will work, to go in this direction with a certain person, you need to find out.
Yeah, sure, you need to. Should I leave the toxic relationship, or should I stay and try to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, toxic is a very strong word. Question, for example, is, was it always toxic from the start, or was it becoming toxic because something happened? Maybe there was a very good time, the couple had together very strong, and something made it kind of toxic or dysfunctional. And then the question is, shall we not try to work through this? Then actually we have better better resources, and now it just became toxic. So, but if it's toxic from the start, let's say there is a narcissistic partner who is playing games with you, who is throwing you away and taking you back and stuff like that, and you, because toxic is a very strong word. It sounds like there's, by the way, I really think your partner, the one with whom you want to spend the rest of your life together, should be your best friend. I believe in that. I have other best friends, but I want my partner to be the one person with whom I can have the deepest conversations, and the deepest, like where I can open myself the most. So toxic and friendship doesn't really go together. And really, is there potential for friendship? Is the toxic part just coming out of a conflict, out of this misunderstanding, or is it toxic because one of the partners is really toxic? You know.
If you have more questions, you can leave them in the comments. I will ask some next time. These questions, we will do another Q&A. Thank you very much for watching.
Okay.
You're a rock star. Now we need to run.